Thank you so much for the introduction. We really appreciate you. That took up too much time, so I'll make sure the next one is much shorter. But you did that very well. Thank you so much. Is the time for me to go on, Dr. Mark? If it
Yes,
is,
Dr. Blackwell, it's all yours, sir.
okay,
Thank you
great.
so much. We
Thank
would
you for
have
the
taken the
invitation.
whole program just talking about you, but thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen, for the invitation. And it's good to meet everyone that is tuned in. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak to you this morning. One of the things I wanted to talk with you about is the building of the infrastructure into the community. And one of the ways that I had thought about perhaps doing this is starting an institute that would be called the Blackwell Institute. Hopefully that you can duplicate this in your community, but it's identifying again the concerns of the community. So glad to hear you, Mr. Beckham, really speak about what Rotary is about and what it consists of, because that is exactly what this institute is about. The institute I'm thinking about implementing, okay, has to do with social consciousness. And what I mean by that part is we want to be able to groom young people to get to the point that they will know their surroundings. This is irregardless of political party, of again, whatever religion a person is taking care of your community. So how do you do that? We look at grooming young people, and my idea is to take 20 people who are scholarshiped to be able to meet every other weekend for 5 months. When they would meet every other weekend for 5 months, they would journey to be educated and to engage in the community around them, whether it's going to be their local community, whether it's going to be state, whether it's going to be national, whether it's going to be international. But it gives them a foundation, a basis to be able to be aware of the things that are around them and how they need to be able to participate. When we look at the young adults, they will come, as I said, every other weekend, but they will understand things such as health. When we look at the health and human services, we know that we have a big problem as far as providing health care for individuals. And I don't see that getting any better, but the needs are going to become more chronic, so to speak. I look at mental health. We look at being able to meet those needs. These are needs that health concerns, mental health concerns that we need to be aware of. And these are things that affect all of us. It doesn't matter whether we're from Jamaica, it doesn't matter whether we're from Egypt. These are issues that are worldwide. And these are issues that we must confront, but we must be able to engage and recognize and also to meet the needs of the people. In the assisted living business, which I was in for quite some time, I grew up actually and lived next door to an assisted living facility that we started the first one in Caswell County. And with that, I learned people's personality. I learned bipolar. I learned schizophrenic. I learned emotional, again, that we can have disorders. And not only that, but multiple personalities. So guess what? That's the real world that we deal with. And so people have all these issues, but we need to talk about how, again, we engage to bring these people to the forefront. There are a lot of functioning people who may be a schizophrenic. There are many people who are bipolar who take medication who need to be still involved in community activities. When we look at this, health and human services, I also look at business. Being a businessman, one of the things about the golden rule was it says that, so what is the golden rule? Of course, we all know, treat others as you wish to be treated. But we also heard a preacher say one day, he says, he who has the goal makes the rule. Interesting, isn't it? So my whole thing about it is to create people who can have business across their communities, identifying what is in the community that they need to serve. A lot of times we go off to school and we take classes, we go through MBA programs, but yet we don't realize that the mom and pops in our community are the ones actually that sent us to school. And so we need to go back and build the infrastructure. There needs to be not only the beauty shop and the barber shop that's in the community, but there needs to be, again, the stores that are in the community that serve them. Everybody now goes to the big store, but there needs to be something rebuilt in the community that we invest in our communities. I mean, if we have no business in our community, then guess what? We will not have, again, the finances or the goals to create clean communities, create, again, communities that are of value. And what I mean by that is we don't want to have communities that don't have an infrastructure that includes business that can uplift that community. We'll look at how to create a business, how to do a business plan. These are things that we want to be able to look at. If we bring mentors in every other week who are accomplished in their various fields, whether it be health and human services, whether it's going to be business, whether it's going to be civic involvement, whether it's going to be something like the Cancer Society, whether it's going to be Red Cross, whether it's going to be people who come in with goals and visions, and people who have accomplished and individuals who have been involved in different civic, like the Red Cross for years that are established. But these people need to know how this works, not just when they're on the receiving end, but how to galvanize the community. We look at how to journal, how to motivate, how to, again, journal your plan. Most people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan. And so the whole thing about it is to become organized. So we want to teach people how to become organized, how, again, to motivate, and how to receive that maximum. And you have to do this when people are younger, when they engage. We don't need to wait till they go off to college. We like to be able to do this while they're in high school, so that when they are planning their college career, they can plan it with purpose. The other thing about it is to think creatively. How can we think creatively? Not be just a part of the problem, but be a part of the solution. And so we're seeking the knowledge from wherever we can get it. Amen. And I do agree that it has to be factual. It cannot be something that is not factual. We have to build foundations. And how do we build foundations? One brick at a time. But team is always involved in the building brick process. So we want to instill the sense of community. No matter where you are, we're a sense of community, whether you're in Jamaica, whether you're in Egypt, whether you're in Europe, Africa, wherever you are, we want to build a sense of community, because what you do in your community affects what I do in my community. We want to look at how to journal and project, to do a life plan, and to be able for young people to understand, okay, I'm not merely existing, but how do I go about developing a plan? And then I must follow up on the plan that I developed. So we want to be able to have relationships built with mentors, that these young people over the years can become mentors themselves. But we want to assign somebody with someone for at least a 10-year period of time. This is friendship, this is community, this is engaging, this is empowering. We also like to talk about how to reward them. I do believe that it is important to reward yourself, but life just can't be about gratification. We need to look at delayed gratification. It need not to be instant. And so we need to look at people, if you've accomplished something, that's great. Okay, but let's plan your success story, and let's plan, again, your gratification. Let it be delayed, but be ready to go on to the next part of your journal, the next part of your plan. So if we're teaching someone something in this institute, it's about discipline, about, again, how do I engage in my plan? And if I have a setback, can I really reorganize for the setup? When I go to a bank and my loan is not approved, can I ask the banker why? Why was my loan not approved? So that when he gives me that, then the next banker that I go to, I'm going to have all those items in that business plan to be able to secure that loan. It is about taking care of the orphans in the community. And we have a lot of people, again, now we have a lot of foster parents. So we need to look at how to reward these foster parents. People say, well, they're getting paid. They can't get paid enough to take care of children who have emotional issues and who have issues that, again, that may ground them for the rest of their life. I'm not sure how I'm doing on time, but I'm good. One of the things that I like to talk about as well is urgent care. Urgent care, you may look at it and say, well, what is that? Well, I do something called urgent care that I deal with, again, people exactly where they are. It's a 3-day seminar. I'm not soliciting your support for this. I'm asking you to look at doing something in your community that would do this. People need to talk, but we need to come to a safe place where we can really talk, where we can be taught. And my whole thing about it is I never tell a person what that issue is. I teach on the issues, and then the person sees their issue. Because only when a person sees their issue can they become involved to the point that says, I need to change. I recognize where I am. What can I do to make this better? And then we give that person before they leave for them to be able to write a plan for their life, for their vocation. For their vocation should be a vacation. It should be something that they love. There are a lot of people who are stuck in they're in mediocre positions only because of the fact they haven't planned what they really want to do in their life. And so therefore, I'm stepping up sometimes into a business where the person is not really engaged. And so therefore, they can't give me, again, all that they have because they're in the wrong place. And so we want to establish and empower people to love what they do and to love people. You really have to love people, and you have to get over your issues in order to be able to love somebody else. So the part of urgent care is a cleansing process that takes people through in order to get them to the point where they're productive, engaged, and enlightened to do great things. I'm not sure how many minutes I took, but how many more I may have left. Am I good? Okay, I got 5 minutes left. Okay, great, excellent. So I want to talk to you also about how to do that engagement. One of the things that we were looking at is getting sponsors in our own individual communities so that these children will have the supplies that they need. They will have, again, access to the mentors and identifying people across the state, not just even in your local area. Some people call this, again, a type of program that will uplift our city. Yes, it will uplift our city, but we need to look at that when we're engaging with young people. We are giving them a format where they can become, again, regional leaders. They can become state leaders. They can become national leaders. And what do I mean by national leaders? I'm talking about taking care of the community. This is not political. This is saying, again, I may serve on a board that is dealing, again, with communication. I may deal on a board that's dealing with cancer. I may deal on a board that's dealing, again, with uplifting and business acumens, but showing them how to lead and to lead with purpose, and also how to lead from behind. Every person does not have to be out front. A lot of the things that are done in back rooms. They're done in as far as building an empowerment that would allow people to feel free to reach out and say, okay, let's talk about our community. Let's talk about what's on both sides of the track. Let's talk about, again, what's in the poor neighborhood as well as in the wealthy neighborhood. How do we come together to make our community safe? How do we come together to make it better? How do we come together to make it flourish? How do we come together, again, to enlighten? And how do we enrich the people that are around us? I think we all have that responsibility. I think we have to develop plans locally to develop our people before they can become regional, state, or national leaders. One of the things that we always say, do it with love. If your heart ain't in it, you don't need to be in it. And so the whole thing about it is that we have people that need to also take time to, we go through a lot of class. I used to be in real estate, and we would have to go through continuing education classes. We need to have our leaders to go through classes that is going to enrich them, that they can relax. We need to invest in them, not just pat them on the back and tell them how good they're done. But we need to make sure that they are going to some type of seminar or some type of program that will enrich their lives and also focus or refocus them to do even greater work. So that is my time with you this morning. I hope that I've said something, I shared something that will cause a person, again, for the principles of Rotary. Thank you, Dr. Mark, for inviting me.
Thank you, Dr. Black.